Welcome, everyone, to another Inside Xbox
May contain
presentation.
content appropriate for children, sure.
And it's rated 18.
So with Peggy, I'm guessing we're gonna talk about Hellblade 2 then.
Was it?
I guess.
Isn't the first party stuff for the next one too? Though?
Supposedly, I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Hey everyone, this is Aaron Greenberg from Team Xbox.
Got it.
I'm excited to be coming.
Oh,
live
Aaron.
from
Hey,
my
Aaron.
kitchen.
Games marketing.
I see what he did there. Look,
Yes, yes, of
it's
Xbox
free.
Series X Fridge.
Jesus Christ,
I see
is
what
that
you did there.
cute?
What are we doing this summer? Well, we're not taking the
Oh
summer
my
off.
god, the
We're
Xbox Series
Teams
X is
cannot
bigger than
wait
I
to
thought it would
deliver
be.
new games,
It looks
new
like a
builds,
bloody
new games
server
to you, so
terminal.
it's time to get hyped. You're
You
gonna
don't
see
notice it's
today
actually a green
the
screen.
first
Alright, guys, it's time to get
Xbox
hyped.
Series X gameplay
I think it looks. I don't know this. To me, it looks more like the monolith the way they're showing it here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Does the monolith have holes at the top?
Although looking at the top, people actually photoshopped instead as a bazooka with Phil Spencer holding it.
Again, I hope Microsoft do realize the memes that this is going to generate.
Well, remember, Joe, Microsoft is terrible at naming things overall. Remember, the Xbox
Oh,
One, the
very
Xbox
cool.
One
Hellblade, the
Oh,
two.
never mind.
I want to welcome the head of Xbox Games.
Well, yeah,
Matt
there's a
Ruiz,
first
also
party exclusive.
Thanks, Aaron, and hi, everybody.
Also on PC.
I want to start by saying that our first concern is really with...
Sweet it is Booty, here comes Matt
Matt
Booty.
Again, his last name is literally Booty. The joke writes itself.
I'm not gonna make any.
Already
I've
did.
really been impressed with the ingenuity and the creativity that they've shown to get around some of the
I
challenges.
am
of working
impressed
from
with the
home and keep
ingenuity.
moving forward on our great lineup.
Well, props to the
I'm not gonna
guy.
say anything.
We'll begin unveiling
You can't
gameplay
make this
from
shit
our
up, folks.
studios Starting in July, including some.
Oh, hey, Halo Infinite. Are we finally going to get more news about
I'm
that?
seeing a
They
Gears
said they're
armor
gonna
there too.
Are we actually
Oh.
gonna see gameplay?
Well, apparently they said something about showing off some stuff in July.
Yeah, that too.
Ah,
But
yeah,
to be
Summer
honest,
of Gaming.
the title of this stream is literally called Gameplay, so here's hoping.
No, they're just gonna show off the menus for the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, like with the Xbox One presentation.
It's technically in-game footage.
Now I can watch, let's see, what current movie I can watch here on TV with the Xbox Series X.
Whoever heard of UI gameplay? You have to play a game just to get to the game.
Alright, what
Inside
is this?
Xbox.
Yes.
What do?
Okay, I don't know, I don't care what jingle you
First
put in,
look,
it's still
Xbox
sinister.
Series X.
I know, right? Seriously. This feels like the opening to a villain monologue with how
Every
this is
game you're
going.
about to see is being optimized for Xbox Series X.
Great!
Oh.
So, how amazingly will they play?
Let's see.
Playism presents.
Plays, I already remember that name. Playsum, I forgot what we did.
IQ'd.
Bonk.
Oh, that had to hurt.
Okay, I've never
Yeah,
actually
this is
seen...
definitely scripted.
I've
Like
never
just like
actually,
showcase,
seen
not actual
on,
gameplay footage.
Okay, one thing I will say, I've never actually seen it. The HUD and that is actually on the gun, as opposed to just being on the bottom right corner of the
A
screen.
lot of time, actually, I think pretty much. So at least the HUD, when it comes to the ammo count, has been potentially viewable on the web.
Well, I've never really played Halo.
Interesting.
Well,
What is it?
it's as a
Wait,
sort of progenitor.
What is this? Halo meets Rise Son of Rome or something?
I mean, okay.
No,
I
I'd be for that, actually.
Okay.
It looks interesting as a mashup, I guess, but
Okay, I will
Yeah,
admit,
Java?
this does look actually pretty interesting and somewhat intuitive here.
although again, it clearly just looks like, you know, a gameplay, an idea what the gameplay may be instead of, you know, actual gameplay footage.
I pray to God
Oh,
this isn't a bunch of
car.
bullshots.
Is that a-
Okay, and now we're in Forza.
What? Okay, is this just a crossover of all Microsoft games?
Is this like? Oh no! Now actually we mentioned the name of the developer because otherwise I would
Memory
Right,
Infinite.
Infinite. Otherwise, I would have thought they were like just a showcase of major IPs.
Microsoft is seriously adding Infinite to all their game titles these days.
That's the thing,
It's
Jova.
like when Nintendo put 64 at the end of theirs.
That's the thing, Jova. I think it's still like a third-party title, though.
Weird. It looks like a mashup of Microsoft's first-party gameplay styles.
Stay tuned for the world premiere of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Hey,
Yay.
Tio, hey, Tio.
Well, Java, they did tell us that this stream was all for the third-party stuff. So.
Oh, I know.
Why Assassin's Creed Valhalla of all things to show here?
Okay. So I'll admit that.
With smart delivery, buy a game once and get the best version of that game or whatever.
Remind me, guys. What do we call? Remind me, guys. What do we call in that previous game we just saw?
Playing
Bright
IQ.
Memory Infinite, I think it was.
Yeah.
But apparently, if you buy a game once, you can get it on any other Xbox you have at no cost.
Yeah.
That's
the
nice.
PlayStation also recently announced that it's going to be the same thing on PS5. This is going to be the new thing going forward. For
So what? You
consoles.
get the PS4 version and you get the PS5 one for free.
No, you're gonna get but like for example, let's say you put Persona 5, say Persona 5
Ooh,
is enhanced
world
on
premiere.
PS5. You'll get it, basically.
New Forza? Is this the new Forza?
Well, they said for.
True, so it's another thing entirely.
Did they wait?
Codemasters. So it's yeah, Codemasters making racing games like this.
Yeah.
So it's another. I think Codemasters works with Bandai Namco in order to make these racing games.
Bandai Namco?
Yeah.
I thought they normally self-published.
Oh, I don't remember. Well, okay, then it's another thing. Maybe it's another thing. I don't know. I need to check better. I'm sort of a look with these.
Well, it looks like a nice racing game. It is certainly a racing game. Racing!
Well, I mean, what else are you going to have in a racing game?
I mean, don't get me wrong. It is possible to do a racing game somewhat intuitively, but, you know, you see one racing game, you've seen quite a lot. And this is not looking too much different from the likes of Gran Turismo or Forza.
Dirt, yeah, it's Dirt Rally. There you
Dirt,
go, Dirt
5. I didn't know Dirt was a
Dirt's
series.
the name of their series, yeah.
Ebb Software.
I'm not really into normal racing simulators, so I'm not really in a position
Same.
to talk about that.
Hello?
Venom?
No, it's just a skull.
Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass. I mean, you don't even have to...
Wait,
this
is
like
this,
the world's...
Yeah, this is the Kickstarter. I actually know this one. This was a Kickstarter game with a setting very inspired by H.R. Geiger's, sculptures, including the work he has done for the Alien franchise.
Oh boy.
I forgot the name of the title. So we're finally able to show it. Good to know. Yeah, in case you're wondering, Shiro, H.R. Geiger was not very subtle in his creation. Everything's a fucking genitalia of sorts.
We kind of have him to thank for the Alien franchise indirectly.
That literally looks like a penis.
Someone interpret me!
I'm pretty sure it's easy to interpret, Drova.
Interpret me further!
Ask me what this means, ask me what this means!
Is this one of those thingy games where...
It's like if Tarzan made a video game.
Define that, Lives, because the actual gameplay footage that we showcased for the Kickstarter was a first-person shooter, technically.
I get this too. It really speaks to me.
Good to know.
Makes you want to just lie down in
Now
bed
just
and
don't do like the
relax.
guys in Prometheus and don't stick your head into an unknown alien group.
Okay, so do they inject themselves with their internal drugs or?
It's very it has the keyword is that everything is organic, including your weapons. Yeah, there goes Scorn.
It's a sequel.
That's what it's
called.
called.
To Death Stranding.
No, Dweebs, that uses also machines still. This is everything literally organic. War premiere.
Well, I'll give Microsoft
How else
this.
are
they
we
certainly
doing
have a
that?
knack for world
The
premiere.
final frontier.
What?
Oh, Deep Silver.
Official
Is this Red
production.
Faction or something?
No, Red Faction. The Red Faction IP has been passed to Coach Media instead.
Yeah, but Coast
recently.
Media owns Deep Silver.
Wow, the sequel to Recore looks edgy.
Actually, it reminds me a bit of more of Control in terms of aesthetic.
Same.
Maybe it's Control
It could
too.
be. It could
No,
be Red
that's
Faction.
Remedy, Jova.
Faction is
Red,
just on first
Red
person.
Faction is more about group shooter, if I recall correctly.
Well, Red Faction, you're on your own. At least in the first game, you are.
My
Ooh.
boy,
So it's-
this is the cosmos
edgy
that
stuff.
all heroes strive for.
So
Now
basically,
this is pod racing.
So this is edgy Star Fox, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Looks like
With less
it.
furries.
So what, is Fox McCloud a code name?
This ends with us.
Okay.
Okay.
Chorus.
Okay.
Rise as one!
Okay, Deep Silver, what do you have
Corpse
planned this
rises.
time?
Actually, I think DB is supposed to be read as a U.
World premiere. Again.
Hey, sure, take a shot, world premiere.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
he-
Madden. Great.
I think it.
Oh.
Die
yeah.
halfway through, she did that.
EA.
I'm not wasting
I'm
alcohol on this.
surprised. Yeah, considering all the stuff going on, I'm surprised they're pressing ahead
See,
with
here's the thing.
releasing
See-
up-to-date sports games.
Yeah, this is the thing though. This is EA Sports' Madden, aka American football. So this only appeals to Americans anyway. So
Well, I think this stream is intended mostly for the American. Like this is the American stream. I do wonder if an European version is instead FIFA.
Actually, you'd be surprised.
Oh God! What the
ahem.
hell was that?
That
showing
was
the
John
the
Madden.
history of the series. I'm
Also,
guessing.
allow me
I
to
see.
allow me to explain. You'd be surprised. Madden actually does get quite a bit of viewing over in Europe. Actually, heck, to the point where we actually do have some American football games hosted in good old Britain. Dwib's can attest for that.
Well, unfortunately, that's not going to happen this year.
Well, obviously, yeah. The point is like,
Well,
well,
John was speaking in general with.
But yes, there have been. Recently, even the MLB, Major League Baseball, had a couple of games over here.
yeah, basically, and oh yeah. And as for the Super Bowl,
Felix,
turns out that thing reaches like worldwide potential. So yeah, there's definitely a multi.
Yeah,
There's definitely.
watched it.
Go on.
I watched it on BBC One round here, and the BBC One's basically the main channel that everyone gets round here. So yeah,
is this guy a natural player?
maybe.
Jova?
I don't know. Hey, look, I like the sport,
Still,
but I mainly just follow
what-
with the Bills.
What the hell was that title screen from before where John Madden literally burst in your face or something?
Well, it's one way to
It was the
terrify their
90s.
audience.
Sarah Bond.
Head of Xbox.
Da-da-da-da.
So she handles third-party relationships, basically.
Which means I get to work with the thousands of developers and creators around the globe that are creating games on with.
Can you maybe, make a new partnership with Mistwalker to see if you can rise them from their grave?
Is Mistwalker even, substantial enough, I wonder?
That's the thing, Joe. They only have 15 employees as of right now, according to Wikipedia.
I mean,
They need desperate help.
they can rebrand themselves as an indie developer. Hello Games has worked for a long time with like 10 people, I think.
Yeah, look how well it turned out the first time for us.
Well, they still managed to get
Wow, all those companies.
Look at all that
Look at all
publisher
that! Look at all those Eggman's publishers.
The support, it has just been tremendous, guys. I have never seen partners as excited.
Wait, don't make it disappear yet. I still need to read them all. Hi, IDOS Montreal. Also, hang on, that's interesting. They list IDOS Montreal and Square Enix separately, even though Square
what's
own
this?
IDOS Montreal.
I guess it's just
a-
technicalities.
it's
We happy few.
Yeah, it's
Wait, DLC
it's
or
it's
a
basically
sequel?
a tactic. It's basically a tactic to so they can put more studios on screen, basically.
Take me on home
Hold
to
Is We
the
Happy Few-
asylum.
Is We Happy Few getting a sequel?
World of Darkness.
Ever alone in the asylum.
Okay, is this a game
Hopefully
where
it-
this guy can
hopefully-
control time?
That looks like a mixture between Jesse Eisenberg and Adam Howen.
Hopefully this one will release, you know, in a finished state.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably a sequel apparently.
He's trying.
Oh,
he's,
I
this is-
wonder
this
though.
is
It
that-
looks a bit different.
This is that deleted scene from Joker, don't you know?
I was about to say,
Of course.
this would totally fit for a Joker game, but it looks more like...
You see what happens when you don't allow proper partnership with your development studios and you don't allow maximum graphic setting? You get what you fucking deserve!
Okay, so he can freeze time and manipulate the environment around him while time is frozen.
Okay.
So, Quantum Break.
Quantum Break mixed with We Have
Nice.
With You?
Okay. Okay. If it was Quantum Break, they'd
Hold
have,
on,
they'd
actually-
have in bland-looking TV episodes.
Oh, actually, I wonder, is this the... Oh no, Night Falls. Okay. Oh, hold on. No, it's Vampire the Masquerade. I forgot about that.
Oh!
Yeah, I should have guessed from Paradox.
So
Oh.
you... I see, so you play as a vampire in this.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade. It's taken from a tabletop RPG similar to D&D, just with vampires basically.
So but this vampire has the moves.
Huh.
Condense on your...
So he's Team 4-star Alucard then. Bloodlines
For
2.
premiere.
Again.
I did not know
Take
that
the
this
shots.
series was a
Look
thing
at
until
all those
now.
world premieres.
Oh, Harry.
Nora and Harry.
Huh?
Out of the blue.
What was that, Shiroi?
I've traveled so
What?
very
You
far
mentioned
to
something
find you.
about it.
No, I didn't.
How strange that your trail ends here.
Are you Yeah. Okay. Okay. I know you guys just explained it to me, but
But
in order to understand what smart delivery is properly, I'd have to look it up.
I was withering away,
Wait, what the?
but here, on this extraordinary isle, I dare say I've found my strength again. I'm scared of what it means. I feel the call of something deep within.
Do you now?
Whispers of things long forgotten.
Pedro, let her express her emotions properly. Come on.
I just wish she would show me her emotions rather than telling me what her emotions are.
Well, maybe
It's about
a
narrative
first person.
Whoa,
drama.
Call of the Sea.
Wait a minute. Haven't we heard about this game before?
No, there was like one of the EA originals having a similar idea. Neon Giant.
Oh,
Another world premiere.
Curve Digital.
Well, Taylor, to quote Futurama, you can't just have your characters express how they feel. That makes me feel angry.
Contracted the entire library to get here. Workers or indents, slaves in all but name.
Oh,
Workers, slaves.
Fascinating.
shut down.
Oh my god, it's Akumura's palace from Persona 5 stretched out into a whole game.
Are
Oh,
you
yeah, mental
implying that that dungeon
shutdowns.
couldn't be its
I
own
mean-
game?
Nothing.
Well, if the final boss went so, if the boss
Why
battle
are
went so shit,
Dreams,
yeah.
please? Why are everyone looking so? Oh, it's a. Oh, okay.
We wish to test
Er,
your abilities.
I forgot the term properly, but I get this type of genre.
It's an isometric game.
Kinda similar to Diablo, but more emphasized on shooting.
Rarely see ones like this, in more realistic 3D and that.
Well, Diablo hasn't been too cartoony with its art style.
Together.
The
The
Ascent.
Ascent.
Okay, fair enough.
World
Yeah, world
premiere.
premiere.
If it gets a sequel, what's it going to be called? The Descent?
What do we have here? Sad music.
Pregnancy. Okay, then.
Okay, Xbox Game Pass. You can deliver a baby now with a pregnancy simulator.
Didn't we already
Maybe
have
it's an
Beyond
alien
the-
baby.
in Beyond the Souls?
Pedro,
Well, that was Sony.
Pedro. Implying that was even remotely akin to how pregnancy actually works.
True.
Okay.
And now
Remember,
she's,
Pedro, the baby in that game just kind of pops into thin air.
The baby.
Completely clean.
What the?
Sudden change
Sorry,
in
the
mood.
Church of the Power Cut.
I don't think there were many lights in there to begin with.
The fetus is killing her from inside, I guess.
So it would seem.
Whoa.
Is
This
the-
is like the female version of John Connor. The medium.
Okay.
Did Microsoft make this stream with the express purpose of creeping people out?
Lady got with a ghost, I don't know.
Maybe.
Coming holiday 2020.
Oh, great!
Hey.
That trailer made no sense.
Andrzej
Andrzej
Mazdrak.
Bloober team. Bloober team.
Working on the project in cooperation with Akira Yamaoka, the legendary composer best known for the Silent Hill series.
Oh, a game with Akira Yamaoka as the composer.
Oh, so we're going for a bit of a Silent Hill theme, it would seem.
Well, what is this?
No.
Oh,
It's-
it's okay, it's the medium.
Yeah, we're
So,
seeing
and then
more of the
it's-
medium.
It's Silent Hills, but they have an Z at the end, not an S. Silent Hills. To basically get around the copyright.
Interesting.
Alright, Premiere.
Haven't heard that one before.
Oh, Bandai Namco. Also, we get it. Tokyo, Shibuya is a very busy-looking. Oh, that's. Yeah, Shibuya is a very busy-looking place. Oh, it's a word. Wait, this particular cell shade.
What the heck am I looking at? Zombie cheerleaders?
The others have arrived.
That's not
They look
that's
like
not-
bouquet.
Yeah, flower bouquets with legs.
They
and
cannot be
arms.
hurt.
Like I said, they look like zombie
They
cheerleaders.
cannot be stopped.
Yeah, just you better hope it doesn't rain, otherwise you'll be screwed.
Until now. Nice to
Well,
meet you,
until
young
one day.
champ. Now have some
young,
injected
young
into
anime
your
character
back.
voiced by Yuri Lowenthal. Never heard that before.
So what is this, like No More Heroes for Teens?
Oh, it's a bit more action-based, but it does remind me of how Code Vein worked in terms of aesthetic and gameplay. But it's still more, it's a bit faster though, and more action.
Code Vein also from Bamco.
Yeah, it was done by the team who made the God Eater games.
Welcome to high school, I mean the OSF.
High school.
Oh, hello there, Lucina lookalike. With one
You sound
mission.
important.
To find my father, I mean,
Exterminate!
Exterminate!
the Daleks.
Annihilate!
I still think sentient bouquet flowers are not really threatening as a force.
I'd play
Scarlet
a game where
Nexus.
Scarlet Nexus. Oh, so new IP entirely. Cool.
Very interesting. World premiere.
Again.
Boogaloo.
The premiering.
World premiere
Honestly,
control.
this could just be a game of how many ways we think up how to spice up the term world premiere. And hello,
Systemic reaction. Avalanche Studios. I don't know who these guys
Avalanche
are.
Studios? Are those guys affiliated with Avalanche Software or whatever the fuck's that?
Possible.
Earth has
Well, I
fallen.
mean, isn't there two avalanches going?
Oh, look
Yeah,
at this!
there are two.
Oh, look at this! An apocalyptic future game. Rally your
With
squad.
dinosaurs.
That's that's how they sell their games. They pretend they're the same Avalanche that makes Just Cause in order to
Kill them all.
To Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
So
No,
it would
absolutely.
seem- Well, let me guess. The twist is that some of these dinosaurs were once humans, but were mutated by an evil scientist.
Well,
So
yeah.
what's this? Detroit become dinosaurs.
Second extinction.
Reclaim Earth.
This time, but you see, guys, this time it was us who were this thing, not the dinosaurs.
But I thought Death Stranding told me when we had a sixth extinction. Oh, Yakuza. So this is keep. I think
Dragon,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. Starts off with you losing a finger.
He always believed. So yeah, actually, I think for the West, we're doing an unprecedented and probably releasing it at the same time for both the PS4 and Xbox One.
So, Gio, how do you feel about them?
Sorry, Jova, yes?
How do you feel about them supposedly finally replacing Kazuyama as the protagonist?
Kazuma Kiryu. Oh, as long as the story is compelling enough, I'm fine. Like, the strong point of the Yakuza games are the disconnection between the serious story and the batshit insane gameplay. Yes, this is actually an RPG, Dweeb, by the way. It's not even like a proper action game, it's actually an RPG. There you go. But that's exactly what I meant. The story takes itself out extremely seriously, but at the same time the gameplay is in contrast by the gameplay being very stupid and very insane at the same time. But that's the appeal. So as long as the story is good, I don't mind.
Oh wow, they literally have a satellite laser beam now.
As I can tell, the Steam database got a leak that it's also coming to Steam soon anyway, so it's gonna be the first one.
Toshiro Nagoshi.
Looks like it's going to be the first ever series multi-platform release.
Cool. So are we also planning the remasters of 3, 4, and 5 to be on Xbox One and PC as well at some point?
Eventually, it's only a matter of time.
Still, it's nice to see Sega also opening up to this.
As well as on Xbox One and Windows 10.
Well, the popularity of the series in the West has recently exploded, so it makes
True, but remember, it was also thanks to Sony basically financing Sega in the background. That's why for a long time they stayed on the PlayStation as exclusives.
I still am sore that the original English dub didn't carry through. We could have had Mark Flipping Hamill as a series regular.
I hope you all enjoyed this.
He is great as
peek
Majima.
at just some of the titles we have lined up for Xbox Series X.
Oh,
This
no
is
world
just
premiere.
the beginning. And personally, I can't wait.
Oh, just the beginning, eh?
But until then, I'm just gonna have to live out that fantasy via custom backgrounds in Microsoft Teams. How about
No, this is just the beginning.
They never managed to get any kind of hosts for these things that are charismatic and, you know,
aside from Phil himself, and even then, he lost a lot of credibility, unfortunately.
We've got.
What happened this time?
Alright, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla
That
gameplay,
is the
forgot.
most awful green screen I've ever seen. Your hair is not like...
Okay,
to be fair,
Pedro, to his
they're
credit, he's literally working from his bedroom, like...
They're arranging what they can do, so I'm willing to cut a bit of slack.
Also, it's a feature for the particular chat they're using.
Also, I would say,
It's not
go
green screen.
if you want to do this, go full hog. Have a green shirt like in the Xbox, so that the background blends in with your body or something.
Yeah, and then you think showing is your head. Well, yeah, well, unless you have green eyes.
Heck, the Ace Attorney Twitter account posted out background renders for people to use for this type of thing.
Neat.
Alright, so this is...
once again, Ubisoft refused to give us an Assassin's Creed game that takes place in feudal Japan. But hey, have Vikings.
Well, not just that, Jova. It continues the thing that it did with, Origins and Odyssey. It just has a rather cool, properly open world, type of action, slightly RPG, but mostly just with the Assassin's Creed, franchise being sort of a footnote
Are they
attached
even
to
continuing the modern timeline story at
I
this
don't
point?
even. No, guess what, Jovan? Most of the plot points of the modern timeline gets resolved in the comic books, apparently, from what I heard.
Oh.
That's the level we have got right now.
So it's Gears of War all over again.
No.
Even worse, Dweebs, because
Okay. Here's the thing, Dweebs. Gears of War resolved its main plot points without the comics. It was just extra details that you could get from the comics. This is like if you had, say, the conclusion to Crash Bandicoot actually happen in comics, and the game just ends on a blank note.
Actually, Jova, there is an equivalent actually in game. Infamous between the first Infamous and the second, the first and second Infamous at Sony, a couple of its plot points, including the reason why a particular character doesn't return in Infamous 2 because she gets killed. It happens all in a comic published by DC.
Damn.
Yeah, absolutely. That was directly.
So is this
from the
what
game,
again?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, it's still Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Again, they're showcasing.
Okay, as someone who has little to no experience at all with Assassin's Creed, it seems like in these recent years, Ubisoft just doesn't care about Assassin's Creed anymore, so just keep attaching the Assassin's Creed name to all these games that have
Precisely.
Actually, Pedro, it's just the opposite. They care about Assassin's Creed so much that they're essentially making games that are pretty much not even Assassin's Creed in gameplay, Assassin's Creed games, to keep the Assassin's Creed brand alive. It's like me and Tio have said before, Ubisoft should just cut their losses and just make a historic action biodrama sort of game series out of this. Because
one thing they could do is turn games like Origins, Odyssey, and now this one into instead of naming this the action adventure mythological / history series, where they take all these mythological scenarios and make games about them. First, we have something. Odyssey takes place in ancient Greece, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Odyssey in Greece and Origins in Egypt, and this one in Norse territories.
So you could link these three much like the Sonic series or the Storybook series. You could turn this into its own series instead of attaching the Assassin's Creed name on.
I honestly thought Ubisoft were going to start wisening up, since it seemed like they were doing that with Skull and Bones. But honestly, I don't know what the hell is going on with
Keep also in mind that right now Ubisoft is in big trouble because most of its recent releases haven't sold much, nor have gathered that much haven't garnered much favor among the public. So they need to sell something and fast.
Yes, Pedro?
Still nothing from Skull and Bones.
Yeah, that's the thing, honestly. You see, again, like I said, 2017 was quite a good year for Ubisoft.
Actually, I thought 18 was the one.
No. 2017 was the one where you shed manly tears at how good Ubisoft C3 was.
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, but Beyond Good and Evil 2 was also in 2018.
Yes, but Skull and Bones was first shown in... Well, actually, I think it was first shown in 2006. No. Skull and Bones was first shown in 2017, as you'll recall. Then it showed up again in 2018, and then for no reason, neither Skull and Bones or Beyond Good and Evil 2 showed up in 2019. Hence our frustration with that Ubisoft showing. The one that was pretty much just Ubisoft repeating 2015 all over again. That's the thing, Ubisoft seemed like they were getting their act together, and then they just decided, you know what, screw that noise, let's be the dancing clowns again.
Did Ubisoft run out of money or something for development, and that's why they're doing all this other stuff?
I'm just saying.
I've heard, it seems like Origins and Odyssey are good games, they're just
They
not good
are.
Assassin's Creed games. They're just not good Assassin's Creed games.
Heck, not just that, they are pretty much not even functionally Assassin's Creed games. Like, the control system in Origins or Odyssey, completely different. Well, okay, Origins was a bit more in line, but that one added flipping magical flying eagles and all that magical
Not just
stuff.
that, it also retcons basically the entire point of a franchise because both the Assassins and the Templars originated sorta around the time of the Crusades, where the first Assassin's Creed took place, meaning that past events had to just, you know, be their ancestors doing something else. And yet, with these new, no, these were still the Assassins and the Templars, just in the different factional names that they changed over the decades. Which, sure, you can say that. It just feels like you came up with that on the spot.
I'll just wait for God of War 5. Thank
Okay,
you.
I mean, don't get me wrong, this game looks like it could be fun, although I'll admit I'm not as much intrigued by the gameplay as I was with the likes of Odyssey and Origins, because, well, here's the thing though, Vikings are not stealthy, like, in any sense of the word here and there. Like, I doubt we'll be getting anything that feels Assassin's Creed-like in here. Like,
who needs stealth? We have Norse mythology.
That's the thing. Even Origins and even Odyssey, of all things, had some bouts of stealth in them. Vikings, though, do you realize that Vikings are some of the most loudest, most brash, most loud, and undignified bout of people in history?
It's okay, Jova. Just slap, a wrist blade on this character, and it will be easily recognizable.
Yeah, they literally did that for the showing of it. I don't think we
Anyway, now we're talking actually about Dirt 5. So wait, was that like the gameplay showcase? Just a bunch of just a new trailer?
Okay. Okay.
Is that even gameplay?
Okay.
I argue not. Unless considering it's been the trend on a couple of years, that what we consider gameplay to show for a trailer these days is like the scripted, scripted trailer that gives you a general idea what the gameplay might be, but it's not actual, in-game proper gameplay footage.
It's pretty much the same problem with sports game showings. Like, companies assume, it's a sports game. People pretty much know it's gonna go, so who needs to see that gameplay or crap here and there? I mean, granted, look, I may be bored by sports games, but even I argue that you should show off gameplay to at least give your loyal audiences some kind of stuff to, have evidence of it being, unless this really is gameplay just shown from cinematic angles.
What are some things that veteran Dirt
I don't know, Shiro. This Inside Xbox is not lit enough.
No, it's not.
Pedro, I get the feeling that bit is dead.
I know, but I still want it back.
Think about it. I think even Microsoft realized how embarrassing it was, and that's what killed it.
So in career or in arcade mode,
yeah, they made a mistake and they don't want to repeat said mistake.
I mean, hey, aren't you
all?
Don't get me wrong. I'm glad for that. I'm just,
Well, think about it like this, Pedro. Now they don't have to apologize, and like you said, you'd rather the apology doesn't have to be made.
That's super exciting. 4-player split screen, something that we
actually, they didn't apologize for the embarrassing high five shit or anything like that. I don't remember them having to apologize for that.
No, I mean in the sense where they are trying to erase that mistake so that it doesn't get repeated.
Oh, I get. I guess. Yeah, sure.
Duo in the voiceover booth. Let's talk about that as well.
So, Dirt 5, like I said, it's a racing simulator game.
It's also third party, which means we're still gonna get a new Forza probably soon enough.
So, answer me this question, guys. What is so special about the Dirt series that I just need to absolutely get my hands on?
It's similar, well, Jova, to be honest.
We got Troy Baker on Dirt 5.
For basically race commentator.
Also, seriously, Troy...
Really, Troy. Also, in North.
Okay. Honestly, is it just me or does Troy Baker change his hairdo like every 5 months or so? Like, seriously.
Well, maybe he can decide a style.
So basically, the stealth sequel to Uncharted 4 is in Dirt 5.
Why not? Don't you see that Nolan and Troy are big friends and YouTube partners because they have their own YouTube channel where they play games all together. So
I guess that was the thought process. Because remember, they chose them as the voiceovers for commentating how the race is going on.
Is
So
Okay, as
basically, this is gonna.
commentators. Okay.
So basically, this is your way of playing retro play the game, aka their channel.
Also, Dweebs,
Yeah.
don't you know, Dweebs, if it was like what you said, it would be, for instance, Gran Turismo. Sony is finally building its own shared universe between its IPs, and actually having a cohesive set of characters appearing in each other's titles.
And the first thing they decide to link is Uncharted with Gran Turismo.
You know, we all know what needs to be announced here. Bring Crytek into this stream and have them announce Rise.
I wouldn't mind that.
Oh no, me neither. That's what I'm saying. Like
besides, well, Crytek is busy with remastering the Crysis series, actually. So,
although I'm curious though, at this point in time, would Rise count as a third-party exclusive or a second-party?
No, now it's owned by Crytek. No, actually, no, it's still owned by. It's still technically first party because it's owned by Xbox Studio themselves. If we want, you already told us in the commentary. No, the point being, Jova, that the Microsoft wants, so we can just outsource another publisher to do the bidding for a sequel.
Yeah, I know. But if Crytek does it, though.
No, you said that.
Hold on, let me finish. If Crytek does it, wouldn't it be second party though, like Pedro, suggested having Crytek do?
Oh, the medium.
Okay, so is the pacing of this thing like fire off all the world premieres and then later show more gameplay of them? Wouldn't it have been better to just show? Wouldn't it have been better to just show gameplay and the explanations after each of the world premiere commercials? Unless it's a way to get people to memorize stuff.
To fulfill yourself.
So is this a game where you go around melting paintings?
Remove your implant.
Well, I'll admit.
Remember, what is an illusion? The illusion is no longer grand by gold. Bye.
The body horror stuff.
I'll admit, the mood and setting does seem quite authentic. I'll give them that.
That everyone loves, but
what actually is too is that Microsoft owns the publishing rights for the first game, and so why they can keep putting it out on Game Pass and stuff like that. However, when it came to making the second game, Microsoft said, "Okay, we'll finance the second one, but we have to own the IP as well," and that's what Crytek was. But they still own publishing, but they still own publishing rights for the first.
You have a really unique perspective to find out what is inside of other people or what happens in different places.
For the medium, we heard
fascinating.
That you teamed up with
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually give up on those, considering they give up on Alan Wake's publishing rights.
They didn't already?
Yeah,
no. Well, right now they still have the publishing rights for Rise 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if when those expire, they don't even try to renew them, considering they didn't for Alan.
It was his work on.
You also mind, Jova, that the Steam version, I think it was part of a package when it was instead published by THQ Nordic, when Microsoft outsourced to them.
Yeah. Microsoft has this thing where THQ Nordic handles the PC stuff.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Mind you, for some of them, they still decide to slap the Xbox Studio, a sign on them, like for Gears Tactics, for example, recently.
So yeah, they got to work with a world-famous composer. That's good.
For our other games, and mix these two approaches together to fill up our two worlds and our different points of view. So it was it was really great fun.
Oh hey look, that's the best part of this particular country. A guy following us with a camera.
Alright, while this is going on, I'm gonna satisfy my own curiosity. Let's see if this woman is either Brazilian or Portuguese.
And like she can cope with this, that she goes, or that she can see the spirit world, the second
Wouldn't it be
world,
funny if she was Portuguese?
She's like haunted by really one specific vision that she tried to solve. And she has some kind of a hint that the answers can be in abandoned communist vacation resort. It's like an old hotel. So she go there, and then she need to, find out how the vision is connected to this place and what dark mystery.
Multitasking.
And there
I wonder.
Came out because
that can be a good quality.
So is she Portuguese, Pedro?
Poland, late 80s.
Yes, she is Portuguese.
Congrats!
OG, as in OG.
It was a city of
Congrats,
kings.
Pedro.
Yes,
And
it's,
of
right.
course,
It even
company
says here
usually
too.
filled
Like
with
this is on a
of the
Portuguese
city.
newspaper website. They're saying
And,
right
you
here
know,
that
it's a free
Catarina
Poland
Macedo is the only
at that time,
Portuguese
but because in the 80s
person
and
working in
before, we
Xbox.
lived under
Wow,
the
congrats!
communist regime, and there was
And
like
isn't
no
she the head of
free
Free for
speech,
Free?
Well,
just
that's not
rules
surprising.
followed.
Microsoft has always
And
had
when you play
a
as a medium,
strong,
you have this unique
a strong
opportunity to see even further than normal people, because
user base and
you
you know
see the
notoriety in
spiritual.
Portugal
And
anyway. So
spiritual
it's
is
not that
like
surprising.
Oh
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
honest.
it makes sense. But you know, congrats. That's
Like when all
representation
your,
for
like,
your country.
anger, urges, secrets are reflected there. So it's also hostile world in some way. So only medium can, like, you know, solve some puzzles, some mysteries, and survive that kind of encounter.
Horror is really a genre that can really take advantage of some very immersive gameplay. What are some of the Xbox Series X features that the Bluebird team has harnessed to make sure that you can deliver this epic next-gen title with the medium?
Yeah, of course. First of all, it's the horsepower is the hardware. So having that powerful stuff as a foundation for our game, it's awesome, because we spent a lot of years to thinking about this game, how we can fulfill our dreams about it, but we have a problem with the platform. Like everything, we thought it's too weak to fulfill our vision. But then Xbox Series X came up, and we thought, yeah, this is perfect match for us. And now a lot of doors were open for us to be like creative and do the game as we want it. And like the second most important stuff is the seamless gameplay, like, you know, steady FPS and no loading screens, because, you know, you have like immersive horror cinematic experience, and you have two worlds. You can travel between them. You can travel between the levels and the whole story, and not having any, you know, loading screens and any FPS drops. It's like awesome. And of course, we use Xbox Series X in different ways, in many different ways, but I will leave this maybe more for the future, so stay tuned, guys.
Ooh, mysterious. I think I speak for all the fans when I say that I'm super excited to play the medium when it launches on the Xbox Series X. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jack.
Also, thank you very much.
I want to give a special thank you to all of our developers from around the world who pulled out all the stops to share this first look at Xbox Series X.
A lot of Portuguese people in general anyway.
It's also
Oh,
great to see how these developers are taking
there's the
advantage of
Xbox Series,
leveraging things
Xbox
like
Series
really
F.
putting our fans first.
Okay,
And of
Xbox
course, we're
give
doing
milk.
all of our Xbox
Xbox Series F, as in F for fridge.
Also, there was Halo.
Yay!
For like a split second.
Yeah, this is them teasing the first party stream that's coming later.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Again, remind me, Pedro.
Supposedly, I think it's the one in July, although they said we're gonna release news monthly at least. Anyway, that's pretty much it.
Oh.
Is
Yeah,
Well,
it just abruptly switches off.
That was a stream. That's basically
That's pretty much my final thoughts on this. Is like,
They did say
okay.
that it was going to be less than an hour long.
That was okay. Here's my final thoughts. That was a stream that included video games.
Well, I'll give them this.
that's my
They focused more on games than at the Xbox One presentation. I'll give them that.
Well, that's a pretty low bar to clear.
It is. It is. So,
Anyway,
yes.
Yeah.
That was a stream. I'll go first, actually. Okay, so, yeah, they gave us what they promised. Third-party game studios here. I'll admit, the medium does look pretty interesting. The most remarkable thing about Dirt 5 is that we'll have Troy Baker and Nolan North as commentators for the racing. So there's that. Madden? It's Madden. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'll admit, okay, I get what they're doing with Assassin's Creed nowadays, but for some reason, even compared to Origins and Odyssey, which themselves were huge departures from the Assassin's Creed formula, something about Valhalla just feels empty. Like I've said, it is probably not going to have any stealth since, well, it's flipping Vikings, so come on. And, like, the most they've got is, yes, the wrist blade. But that is pretty much it. let's see. There was there was that Call of the Sea game. That was a thing.
Yeah, it's like this first-person dreamscape, Shape of Water like game.
Yeah.
Except hopefully without all the Shape of Water stuff. So.
Goody on that. Oh, there was that post-apocalyptic game with the dinosaurs.
Also, the isometric cyberpunk one.
Oh god, I barely remembered that one.
Unfortunately, I can't remember all of these titles.
Yeah.
But I did some research in the meantime, Jova, but also for Pedro too, because I checked. Bluebird team, the guys who are making the Medium, are a Polish studio, similar to the ones who made The Witcher and randomly Cyberpunk 2077, and they're mostly famous for making the Layers of Fear duology, a sort of an indie horror first-person game, but also the Blair Witch game recently. So they seem to be specializing in psychological horror video games. So we'll see then.
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out the most for me in this one was the medium, if only because it does definitely look like it has a lot of effort put behind it. Oh, there was that vampire game.
Vampire the Masquerade 2. Keep in mind, it's been in development for a couple of times. This was probably just the first major new trailer reveal. Similar to Scorn, again, that was a Kickstarter project that we knew was coming. It just, didn't know when.
Yeah, trying to remember if I've forgotten anything else, but I think that about covers it.
They showcased how much publishing companies are supporting the Xbox Series X.
Which is weird because we didn't really see that many games when you get down to it. But,
there's the new IP from Bandai Namco. That's the one, for example.
Oh, right, yeah, that actually looks pretty interesting, even though it looks a bit similar to Code Vein.
Honestly, considering how Bandai Namco has not as a track record, not having that many IP of its own and not an habit of creating new IPs regularly, this is all for the better.
Yeah, I will say this, it felt a bit weird that for some presentations we saw the commercial at some point, but then saw the actual explanation of the game way later into the show. Like, that just felt weird. And I have no idea why they did it that way. But yeah,
I mean, Jover, every time there's two people talking, every time I go on the comments, all people are like, get on with it. Or,
well, Dibs, not
everyone. So maybe they want to put all that off at the end for them, but that seems like a very weird thing to do if you're just going to try and sate one group of people.
Well, Dwibs, that's the thing. Not everyone thinks the same. Anyway, yeah, the best way to sum up this is, like, they gave us what we promised. I feel like maybe they could have shown a bit more, but, okay, if they didn't want to blow their load too early, that's fine. I can understand, especially if some companies may have been a bit nervous about showing off what they've got, since the tone of today seems to be to, delay stuff up the wazoo.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, they gave us what they promised. I'll admit, not everything was that memorable. They tried. Some more than others, though. It feels lopsided, in a way. They do give us what they promise, but it feels like some things got a lot more focus than others, in a very noticeable way, if you catch my drift. Alright then, next.
Waves.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, they gave us what they said they would.
Mm-hmm.
Third-party stuff, and the third-party stuff looks fine. It won't exactly be some things I'd play, but still, that's just down to personal preference, really. And that's about it. I mean, yeah, that's like, I haven't got much to say on this one. It was okay.
All right, I'll conclude then.
Wait, hold on. Sure,
Well, the Dribbs and Pedro and Shiri apparently agreed that the best final thought to give this was a stream.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't very interesting at all. And like, has the console still? No, sorry, wrong word. Is it still being released around the holidays or whatever?
Last we've heard, yes, there hasn't been a change yet.
Okay, then why are we having a third-party stream now and not a first-party?
Because they want to save the big guns for later, apparently, I guess.
But we're already halfway through May.
Best to wait for July, I guess.
Well, okay, to your credit, I thought this stream was better than the previous one, to be
Better,
honest.
I just feel like this should have come after.
Yeah, I actually get what Shiri's meaning.
I think I get what she means, though. It's like, oh, the idea with a game console's launch here is that you want to open up with the real big openers, not necessarily have them completely at the forefront, but have them appear in like the first showing or whatnot. Like, for example,
yeah, I'm not against the content. I'm not against the content of this stream whatsoever. I just think it was a bit too early for this.
Let me put it like this.
Yeah.
This is like if, in lieu of a Nintendo Switch coming up, we didn't know about Breath of the Wild until until the January showing of the Switch on the year that it was supposed to come out. Breath of the Wild was something we knew about from the get-go here. And yes, while we do technically know that those first-party games exist, the one we know the most about is flipping Hellblade 2, which, do not get me wrong, could be good, but is not near to, say, Microsoft's Mario or their Legend of Zelda.
Not to mention, Hellblade in itself does not exactly have the widest appeal. Again, it's a good game for what it's trying to do, I guess. But it's not going to appeal to a wide range of people, so it's not going to be a
reminder.
Exactly.
Reminder: the first one was actually a literal indie, an experiment that Kutrovisk with Ninja Theory, self-publishing as title with a small budget, could still make it work out. So making a full-fledged sequel with a AAA more idea behind it is an improvement, but I'm not sure it alone can carry an entire weight.
Also, I know there's a good few months left until the holidays, but first-party games would need more than one showcase, and I feel like they're pushing things back a little too much, honestly.
Sure. If you ask me, they should have shown stuff even back in 2019, if you ask me.
Well,
when did they first drop the surprise reveal? Was it at E3?
It was at the Game Awards of 2019, actually.
Yeah.
That was when we first saw some stuff here and there.
Allow me to remind you, Shiro, that Halo Infinite has been developed for 6 years at this point.
We knew about Halo Infinite before we knew about the Xbox.
I don't think we had another trailer after the first one.
No. We've only had one trailer in 2018 and one trailer in 2019, E3 specifically. And none of them showed gameplay, for the record. But that's the thing, Shiro. I'll remind you, Shiro. Phil Spencer recently said, I think 2-3 days ago, that they're still planning on launching Halo Infinite this holiday, and we have yet to see gameplay of the bloody game.
And remind you, Halo is Microsoft's Mario, so if their big console seller doesn't make a big opening, they're in trouble.
Well, apparently they've been having to develop the game from home because of the pandemic. Because I wonder if that's having an impact.
Which does make me wonder if maybe it might be wise for them to delay that at this rate. But nope, no words of that.
Unfortunately, Jova, the magical word, the dreaded word, probably come up again. They need to please the investors, and investors have pretty much showcased all these decades that they have no idea what the fuck video games are.
Phil Spencer already confirmed 2 days ago or whatever it was that they're going to indeed release the console and Halo Infinite on the intended date, so they're not going to delay it seems.
A lot of times, Java, games getting rushed are because of pressures from investors to a company, which is so stupid. I don't get these modus operandi.
It's like how comic book editors think that they are the writers and know always what is best for the story.
Sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, what Shuri said pretty much actually explains a lot of my thoughts overall. It was a perfectly sustainable showing that they got here, but it feels so awkward because, well, the first party stuff should have been shown first, honestly. I get it. There's the mentality of saving the best for last, But in terms of presentation, it's good to have a very strong opener here.
I think it's because most of these games blend in with each other. To be honest, like a lot of these games, like Teo said, have scripted stuff or they're just CGI trailers, and none of them really stand out like incredibly.
Like I said, the most memorable thing to me is Medium, and that mainly has to do with the composer and the efforts that they're putting to it. It was Medium, that Code Vein looking game, and Dirt 5. And that's mainly because that was a racing game.
Keep in mind, everybody, that unlike the other two first-party companies, Microsoft is the one that has the most to prove. That's why a lot of people are demanding right now, because they have a lot to prove with the release of this console, and so far they have yet to do so.
Anyway,
I sadly actually have to agree for this one, at least for now, but go on, Jova, so I can conclude later.
Right, continue, Shirai. You were on a roll with your thoughts.
Nah, that was pretty much it. The content is fine, but the timing is a bit whack.
Very much so.
Alright, whoever's next, if Pedro wants to say any more.
Pedro?
Okay, like I said, I thought this stream was better than the previous one. I'm a bit interested in Scorn, I guess, because it definitely looks weird as fuck. And
Scorn! I knew I was forgetting something.
Well, I did mention, but anyway, I just for the record, I did check their Kickstarter page. They haven't updated yet, but I noticed that their last major update in terms of telling how things were going was from last year's August. So it was almost a year of silence from the developers. So, methinks Microsoft has backed up the project in some capacity.
Interesting. Continue.
Aside from Scorn, I guess everything looks relatively fine. I'm at the very least glad that they kept this mostly to more some more ambitious looking games rather than generic indie side scrollers. And what was that game in the previous stream with the plants? I forgot the name.
Oh, you mean from the last Inside Xbox showing?
Something corn.
Something growing plants and shooting plants or whatever the hell it was. Like, instead of shoving us with with Game Pass shovelware, they actually managed to get a much better selection of games that look more interesting and ambitious than just shoving generic indies that nobody gives a shit about. So I'm glad for that, at least. But it's nothing like amazing or anything, but it looks fine. It's fine for what it is, I guess. It's just, but yeah, like Shiro said, like I think they should have at the very least shown at least one first party, at least one, just as a tease for the next.
Even if it's a bit at the end or something.
I guess they technically showed a bit of Halo Infinite.
No, Java. Technically speaking, they talked just a bit about Hellblade 2 at the beginning, but like we mentioned, it's just that, unfortunately. Can't carry an entire weight on its own, for now, at least.
They only showed a picture.
Keep in mind, if they were talking about it still, if they managed to, of course, for the far future, if they manage to turn into a much more robust franchise, they surely can, use that for the future. But for the time being, that alone can't be sustainable,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also interested in knowing exactly when we're going to learn the price of the Xbox Series X.
Oh boy!
Because basically, now that we know all the full specs, all the specialized people from Digital Foundry will tell you the basic gist of it. Here's the basic gist of it for those who haven't been keeping up. The PlayStation 5 is going to prioritize speed, aka performance, whereas the Xbox Series X is prioritizing power, aka graphical fidelity.
So an opposite situation from the Xbox 360 and the PS3.
Well, if experience has taught me anything, speed does tend to come out on top.
Not to mention, Jova, if you've been following the news, and I have, a lot, and I mean a lot of third-party developers, just check the Google. You can check this for yourself, like PS5 developer article, interview, whatever. you'll find plenty of third-party developers like the Yakuza team, for example. They were praising the PS5. Apparently, the PS5 is very developer. Again, it's made by Mark Cerny, remember? So it's going to be a very developer-friendly console, and developers really like what Mark Cerny's work. So it's going to be interesting seeing how that turns out. So yeah, but now I'm going to have to say speed is at the end of the day going to be more important than graphical fidelity. And the PS5 is still going to have amazing looking games anyway as well, even if they're technically a bit less than it. I mean, the Xbox was more powerful than the PS2, and that didn't really change anything in the long run.
It also helps that we are at a point in terms of game development that there's only so much you can improve, because now we have reached a point already with the PS4 and the Xbox One where games, aside from some cases where the technology gives a lot of uncanny valley feature to the face of characters, games started to appear much more realistic looking in terms of potential art style, for the better or the worse. So meaning that for the PS5 and Xbox Series X, the only thing, it's basically just a refinement of that, and helping with the performance or having their words actually getting bigger or something like that.
So it really makes me wonder, because Mark Cerny already told in an interview a few months ago that he thinks that the PS5 Pro is going to be very appealing to gamers. So he's already implying that they're probably going to do something akin to what they did at the launch of the PS4. But I'm now wondering, what exactly is Microsoft going to do with the price of this thing? Because this console cannot be cheap to mass produce, because of how powerful it is.
Speculation
doesn't answer that due to the pandemic, a lot of components were part of the chain of production had to be slowed down or shut down for a while, meaning that on the long run it's going to cost even more to Microsoft to produce these things. It already started happening instead for the PS5, which I don't know if it's a rumor or actual confirmed news, but Sony may produce only a limited quantity of PS5s for their launch release.
I feel like that was Sony themselves who said that. I may be misremembering. But in terms of the Xbox One Series X... I'm sorry, the Xbox Series X console... God, these names are so bad I'm getting them mixed up.
Microsoft,
mass speculation...
Get better people at naming your shit.
Change your marketing department. Well, aside from the Portuguese gal, change your marketing department.
Anyway, general consensus of speculation seems to suggest that at minimum, this new console will cost $600, and that's like the minimum. Some people think it could possibly cost even more.
Then they really have to show us what they're going to put on the bloody thing, then.
Hey!
Sorry,
guys.
but okay, now.
$1 more.
Yes.
Yeah. This thing is going to cost at the minimum $500 at the minimum, and there's no way people are going to buy a $500 console if you don't show something amazing.
What are you talking about, Pedro? People were all in line to buy the $499 Xbox One. Oh wait.
I think you mean the... Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you're talking about... Never mind.
Yeah, the
right.
Xbox One was $499. Did not go over quite that well with the consumers.
And what's the sad part? Throughout the first year, Microsoft actually had the best first-party lineup, whereas PlayStation 4 had Knack and Killzone, Shadowfall.
I know, right?
Microsoft had Sunset Overdrive, Dead Rising 3, So, and even, but the main reason why that was probably was because of the TV shit that turned everybody against Microsoft. So people bought a PS4 out of principle more than anything, really.
Also, fair to be honest, I think Knack was the only major bad game of the bunch. Killzone Shadowfall was serviceable, and there was also infamous Second Son, which was, respectable in its own terms.
The difference, was like the amount at release. The point being is like, well...
the point is we're never going to get a launch lineup like the PS2. Seriously, magic did they use for that one?
That's unrealistic. Well, that's a thing too. That was a lightning in a bottle situation.
Okay. To its credit, the Nintendo Switch launch, if we're talking about it as a year, was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, the launch year of the Switch was pretty great. That is true.
Yeah.
But let's just wrap this up because
then.
We're already...
To finish real quick, the basic point is Microsoft... To quote Eminem, you have one shot.
One opportunity.
One opportunity. That final stream has to be the most amazing thing ever.
So
Otherwise, what?
So is the first game going to be called Mob Spaghetti or something?
Yes.
Please.
That stream has to be the most amazing thing ever. Halo Infinite needs to look amazing. Whatever, whatever the initiative is making, show Fable. Basically, Teo. Right
You
now,
already told me the previous 2 streams. Yes.
I know, but the common joke, but I haven't told you this one. The common joke right now among Xbox fans is that Fable 4 is the worst kept secret in the world.
Okay. Let's not forget also, when it comes to Halo, they not only have to please consumers, but they also have to please the already disgruntled Halo fan base after Halo 4 and 5.
Jova, what Xbox fan base isn't disgruntled at this point?
That's a good
Minecraft.
point. Damn, he's got a point.
Minecraft is all out. It's still multi.
It's still technically considered a Microsoft IP now since we purchased Mojang in its entirety.
They're just sharing it with everyone, which, admittedly has made them a boatload of money.
But don't you see, Jova? Like that's Phil Spencer's vision. Like gaming everywhere. Game while you take a poop while you're driving.
Funny. That's what the Switch is for.
Anyway, basically, again, the stream itself is fine. It's just that I still don't see a reason to spend at the minimum, because for all I know, it could cost more, $500 for this thing. So, not yet. Like seriously, like just to give you an idea, even if the PS5 also costs $500, all Sony has to do to convince me to buy a PS5 is show God of War 5, and there you go, I'm sold. So it's gonna be hard for Microsoft to top that. So they need to step up their shit in that stream. That's gonna be their final chance, and they need to blow that shit out of the park. Closes out.
Yeah, all right. I'm pretty much following Shiro's sentiment. This is technically serviceable in its own right. It's just the problem that it feels as if it should have be the second one. Unless the idea behind it is that have a more, warm start with the third party, and then the first party is this supposed big, super epic, ultra thing, in order to not blow their load already at the beginning. But I don't know. I feel the need to potentially doubt that. But regardless, talking about the present for this stream, pretty much everything was. Well, not really everything. As someone who's becoming a bit more idiosyncratic about just walking simulators like Gone Home, that one Call of the Sea looked like it was just about look what I can do with the scenario. Sure, I guess. And a couple of other ones, but it's connected to the fact that a lot of these gameplay trailers, quote unquote, had only a scripted sequence or just a cinematic. Bandai Namco seemed to be the more capable one with Scarlet Nexus, because they showcased both, a release, an actual world announcement premiere, and actual gameplay in it. Was that really hard for everyone else? But yeah, Scarlet Nexus is one that interests me. As someone who actually liked the God Eater franchise, I actually still need to get back to Code Vein. But no, I'm actually liking it. I kind of like this new direction that Bandai Namco is taking in the art style and anime structure that it's new anime structure approach that it's taking for its IPs. Not in a sense that we didn't do before, but we were using a sort of different art style. But ever since the new God Eater game and Code Vein, they seem to be adopting more uniform style. The new Tales game is still using something completely different to look at, so it's different in that regard. But this one definitely seems more akin to the work of the God Eater team. The medium can be interesting, but I said that for the horror element, but I hope it's not just walking around and doing nothing until the jump scare happens, because unfortunately, some of the things past works, like the mentioned layers of fear, fall into that category. And I'm sorry, like, at least do, like, if you want to be a love letter to Silent Hill, do what we also did and put a shitload of puzzles with also a puzzle difficulty potentially, because that's the Silent Hill experience too, not just being psychologically disturbed. Everything else, like I said, it was serviceable, but not a lot of things were actually my cup of tea, because a couple of them were just co-op shooters, you know. The Cyberpunk isometric game looked interesting for setting alone, but I don't know if it's something I will play on like immediately. Still, for a third party, and also, yeah, the developer, the publisher support. Also, yeah, true. Also, what I mentioned before, the Yakuza, Like a Dragon announcement. Again, it's nice that Sega is opening up with this partnership. Who knows what we'll see? Maybe, yeah. Actually, that's another thing. Phantasy Star Online 2 has been released for the West, for North America at least, very recently for the Xbox One. Why didn't you talk about that? Like something like, oh, we already had these many players already at launch. We're so grateful for that. Like, that would be a neat bonus. But I guess that's up to Sega in that regard. Still, at the end of the day, it's, again, serviceable for the most part. Some things I didn't care of or I didn't like. But here's hoping there was a good reason for this to be at the spot where it is. So until July, I guess, or whatever the next inside Phil Spencer's console hole is. So yeah.